Gauteng Education MEC Matome Chilwane says the death of a pupil at a school is really concerning. This follows the death of a grade 10 pupil, Tembeka Ngele, at a school in Thokoza on the East Rand. She was allegedly punished for not doing her homework. An investigation is underway, and our reporter Pule Letshwiti-Jones has been following the story. Pule, thank you so much for joining us. So tell us exactly what is understood to have happened, that she didn't do her homework, and then what happened?
Yeah. So what we understand is that she was part of a group of pupils, school pupils, who didn't do their homework. From there onwards, the teacher allegedly instituted a disciplinary process which involved a corporal punishment elements, such as having them run around the field, the soccer fields, and that was as a form of paying the price and as a penalty for them for not listening and paying attention and doing their homework.
Was it a group? Or
yes, it was a group of students.
A group of students were punished in the same way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then from there onwards, she went back to class with a group of students. She then kindly requested to get some water, stood up, and just collapsed. And that's what we understand happened. Community members believe that she, and other parents believe that she would have had other, some sort of comorbidity she wasn't aware of, because they're quite shocked as to how she just collapsed and just passed on just like that.
So do we know how much these children were made to run?
We don't know. It's not yet. It hasn't been established.
Are not clear.
Yet. Yeah.
But there was a group of them, and of the group, she collapsed, and she died.
We would understand there was a group of them who didn't do their homework, and therefore the teacher thought that instituting such a punishment would then make them aware of them having to care for their homework and duties, school duties as well.
So I remember being punished this way as a child, but that was back in the day when corporal punishment was allowed. So talk to me about what forms of discipline are allowed, because being made to run around, strictly speaking, it's not the same as hitting a child. It's not, what is corporal punishment? Is it anything physical, or are there rules and regulations where you can say, right, you're going to go and run around the field? Yeah. What do the rules say?
Yeah, there are rules in place. I mean, the law is very clear. If you look at, I think it's Section 10 of the Schools Act, prohibits corporal punishment in schools and states that no person may administer corporal punishment at a school to a learner. Any person who contravenes such a section is liable for an offence and liable on conviction to a sentence which could be imposed as a form of assault as well. So it's quite clear.
But
to
what
say
is corporal punishment? Because asking someone to run, is that an offence?
No, I mean, it's a form of punishment as well. It's a form of harsh, severe
punishment. You're allowed to punish a child, but you're not allowed to do it in a physical way. Corporal is striking a child. That's my understanding, but maybe it's a broader definition. So you tell us.
I don't understand that, some kids cannot, partake in such an activity. Some are not used to running such, what one would call meters or kilometers. They're not ready for that. And the school is quite clear to say, if there's a problem in class, if a student or pupil is not listening, then you should follow due process, which of course includes reporting the matter to the officials, and then they can take the matter going forward to see what kind of punishment they can institute, which includes suspending the learner or includes calling the parents to see what kind of measures can be taken. But perhaps we can just take a listen to what the MEC of Education had to say.
That process will unfold. Currently, as we speak, we've got a panel of law firms, so we're going to appoint them. So the process has already started. The HOD is dealing with it. I'm sure by the end of the week, the law firm will be appointed because the panel is already appointed, and they will begin their work immediately. But in the meantime, what we're doing is to provide support for the family of the learner. That's why we're going there from now, to ensure that we give our child a dignified send-off. As for the teacher suspension and disciplinary process, that process also will unfold if it gets to that point. But for now, we'll allow the independent law firm to guide us as to how to go forward.
It's interesting if we have a look at the definition of what corporal punishment is. It is the deliberate infliction of pain on a child. So I suppose it would all rest on whether that running, if it was an extreme amount of running, designed to hurt and exhaust a child, there could well be a case pending, but obviously under investigation, as the MEC explains. But obviously the thoughts are with the family. This child, grade 10, so how old was she, 15, 16?
She was 20 years old and spoke to the family, quite devastated by the incident. The mother, in fact, when we walked into the door, she was very emotional. The first thing she said was, I don't know how I'm going to bury my daughter. I didn't expect this. When she left here at home, she said, Mom, I'm coming back. And she just received a call later on to say, your daughter just collapsed. Could you rush to the school and see what is happening? And as soon as she arrived at school, she saw such a pale face and she knew that was it. And she broke down into tears. But the MEC has assured that they will be working in hand with the family and institute some sort of social counseling to ensure that they are well aware of what is going on and help them to recover emotionally. And they're still quite traumatized. So it's something that has broken the family. They're reeling from this tragic incident. And hopefully one will expect that they can recover and get some sort of closure when the post-mortem results come out and there's accountability.
Has the teacher been suspended?
From what we understand, the teacher is still working at the school. This law firm that has been instituted and appointed will now look into the process of what happens next. The community members and, of course, the aggrieved parents want the teacher to be suspended. But we'll see what happens within the next couple of days when that report comes out.
Poor, just such a terrible situation. Grade 10 pupil Tembeka Ncele, punished by being made to run around a field and then drops dead, as you say, possibly some latent situation, but put under perhaps far too much physical pressure, deliberately perhaps to inflict pain. Thank you so much for updating us on that story. That was eNCA reporter Pule Letshwiti-Jones.